umupo sa upuan ko.
De Luna,
Present!
Herrera,
Present!
Valera.
Present!
Handa ba tayo sa school year 2020?
Present!
Ngayong taon, ang edukasyon tuloy pa rin. Sa tulong ng DepEd, mga guro at mga magulang, ang handang isip, handa bukas. Tuloy-tuloy ang pag-aaral. May mga modules para sa iba't ibang antas. Sa government TV, maging sa radyo. Mahalagang ligtas ang ating mga estudyante at guro. Kaya kahit nasa bahay, tuloy ang edukasyon. Kung tulong-tulong, may paraan, may aralan.
Handang isip, handa bukas!
Bisitahin ang DepEd Philippines sa Facebook at ang deped.gov.ph.
Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Kumusta po kayo mga moms and sirs no, sa ating mga regular viewers na ng ating Wellness Check series? Welcome po muli sa ating episode 8 ng Wellness Check. Na check tayo po ay live ngayon sa DepEd Philippines Facebook page. At syempre, ito pa rin po ay hatid sa inyo ng Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Service, Bureau of Human Resources and Organizational Development, Employee Welfare Division, at ang National Educators Academy of the Philippines, katuwang po ang Public Affairs Service bilang parte po ng Brigada Eskwela at Upland Balik Eskwela 2020. Muli ako po si Joan Yamadong, ang inyong makakasama sa Wellness Check na Check. Okay, so ayan. So, previous episode po natin, no, pinag-usapan natin ang tungkol sa environment o sa ating kapaligiran, no. Ang title nga po ng episode natin ay Echoing Nature's Voice, a discussion on eco-friendly living kasama si Sir Francis Soliano. Ayan, so madami tayong natutunan no, tungkol sa pangangalaga sa ating kapaligiran, lalo na't meron tayong pandemyang kinakaharap ngayon. No? Ayan, ano nga ba yung mga um, takeaways natin mula sa discussion na yun? No? Ayan, medyo madami to. No? Ayan, okay. So, ayan, for us to have sustainable living, we have to make sure na yung ating na gumamit tayo ng reusable mask na nagko-cover po sa ating nose and of course sa ating bibig, no, para ma-block yung mga tiny particles para makaiwas tayo 'no, na mahawaan ng COVID-19. And of course 'no, eto yung gustong-gusto kong part, yung nilinaw niya kung ano ang recycling and upcycling. So yung recycling po, eto yung repurposing 'no, ng same material for the same purpose. At yung upcycling naman is repurposing a certain material and transforming it to become a new object of higher value. In fairness 'no, um, last Friday ko lang 'yan nalaman 'no. And ito nga 'no, tinatanong natin, ano nga ba yung sustainable living? So sabi ni Sir Francis 'no, sustainable living is ensuring the environment is conducive for living not only for ourselves, but for the next generation. Oo nga naman po 'no. Um, sabi nga po 'di ba na ang mga tao ay stewards of creation ng mga bagay po dito sa mundo. So parang tagapangalaga lang tayo, hindi ito atin. Kaya ito, alagaan po natin ang ating kapaligiran para sa mga susunod na henerasyon. And eto mga ma'ams and sirs 'no, eto ang inain ngayon 'no, be a plantito or plantita. Ayan, dito sa office namin marami akong kilalang naging plantito at plantita ngayong pandemic 'no. Ayan, so this is a one form of sustainable living and growing your own food by tending edible gardens. Oo nga, yung mga farm to table na tinatawag nila. And eto ang ang ating quotable quote 'no, from Sir Francis Soliano. Our work with the environment is both a personal journey and a journey of community. Oo nga naman. Hindi lang talaga ito para sa atin, kasama natin dito ang buong komunidad natin. Okay, so ayan, ready na po ba kayo sa ating episode ngayong umagang 'to? Ako po ready na, pero bago po 'yan, eto po, reminders lamang po ano, ayan, etong mga ma'ams and sirs 'no, join us naman sa ating talakayan para maging maganda ang ating discussion. So kung meron kayong mga katanungan or even feedbacks 'no, or gusto nyo lang i-share dito sa ating Wellness Check episode na ito ngayon, pwedeng-pwede nyo itong i-type sa ating comment section. Following the format po na makikita nyo sa inyong screen, please type in your name, the name of your region, division, or school, and then your question, your feedback, or your comment. And ito po, no, syempre kailangan namin ng inyong tulong para mas mapaganda pa ang ating Wellness Check episode. So please, pakisagutan po ang ating evaluation form after our episode today. And of course, no, itong ating Wellness Check episode ay ano po, i-share nyo sa inyong mga kasama sa kagawaran, no? Para mas madami pa ang makapanood nito dahil napakalaking tulong nito sa atin, no? Para matulungan tayo makapag-cope sa nararanasan nating pandemya ngayon. Okay, so check na check po ba yun? Ayan, sabihin niyo na nga po, check na check. Okay, so ayan no, mga mama sincers. Okay, so bago ko po ipakilala ang ating speaker today, no? Ayan, pwede po bang anyayahan ko po kayong lahat na ngumiti, mag-smile, i-exercise po natin ang ating bibig. I-arco po natin pataas, hindi po pababa, pataas po, para nakasmile tayo, para ano, start our day, no? Na masaya at maaliwalas. Dahil babaunin natin ito hanggang mamaya. Okay? So ayan. Ayan mga moms and sirs, no? May nakikita po kayong QR code sa inyong screen. Kung gusto niyo pong malaman ang mga topics natin para sa ating Wellness Check episodes or Wellness Check series, pwedeng-pwede niyo pong scan yan or pumunta po kayo sa DepEd.in/wellness check. Okay? So ayan po. Okay. Ayan, eto na nga po 'no, napakaganda ng topic natin ngayon 'no, kasi ito ay tungkol sa grit and toxic positivity. Okay, so ayan, sa mga nagtatrabaho 'no, lagi natin itong naririnig. Dapat daw meron tayong grit. Ano nga ba ang grit 'no? At eto, toxic positivity, eto ba daw yung mga good vibes lang. Okay, malalaman natin yan maya-maya, kaya kilalanin natin ang ating speaker, ayan. So ayan, kung nanonood po kayo ng Stronger from Home series 'no, siya po ang nakasama natin sa episode on grit and toxic positivity. So siya po ay si Miss Kaylor Santiago Cruzado. Okay, so si Miss Kaylor po, okay. Si Si Ms. Kaler po ang kasalukuyang Institutional Chairman at Wellness Committee ng Wellness and Home Study Program ng Kolehiyo San Agustin. Siya po ay may master's degree in education in applied theology at currently taking her PhD degree in educational psychology, specializing in human development and learning. Ayan. Good morning po, Ma'am Kay.
Hi, good morning, Miss Joanne, and good morning po rin sa ating mga viewers. I'm so happy to
Ayan.
meet you.
Kami din po, Ma'am Kay, we're so glad po na nakasama po kayo sa amin ngayon. And of course, excited po kaming malaman ang tungkol po dito sa grit and toxic positivity. Okay, so ayan. Ayan, may mga nakuha na po kaming mga katanungan dito no, mula po sa mga viewers natin kasi ito ay assignment nila. But before po natin itakal yung mga questions from our viewers, no, ito po, let's learn muna. Ano po ba ang grit? Ano po ba ang definition ng grit at ng toxic positivity?
Okay, so yung grit kasi, ang very popular definition niya given by many researchers, particularly Angela Duckworth, no? Sinasabi niya na it is your courage, your capacity to overcome different kinds of complexities or adversities in life. Now, to make it short, ito yung kakayahan ng isang tao na maging matatag sa kabila ng lahat ng pagsubok at pagtanggap ng mga pagsubok na ito sa kabila ng pasakit, no? Sa kabila ng kahirapan. At nangingibabaw sa taong ito ang kanyang kapasidad na humanap ng solusyon sa mga problema at manatiling matatag sa kabila ng mga pasakit na nararanasan. Ano yung mga pasakit na yon? Yun yung mga iba't ibang dimensions, no? Emotional, nasasaktan ka, napapagod ang physical, no? At mentally napapagod ka. At despite all of this, it's okay for a person who has a grit, no, to experience all of this kasi he or she is taking this as an opportunity for him to learn the things or areas in his life that he really needs to improve. Kaya ito ay tinatawag namin din sa psychology na mental toughness, no? Mental toughness. And that no matter what happens, he will just continue to live his life. At ang pinakamaganda dito pag sinabi mong grit, ang taong ito ay tinatanggap niya yung reality sa buhay. Hindi lang yung maganda. Pagkos tinatanggap din niya yung realities ng life, no? Na mayroong problema, may pagsubok, masasaktan ka, mare-reject ka, magko-commit ka ng mistakes. Natatanggap niya yon. At dahil tinatanggap niya ito, meron siyang kapasidad humanap ng paraan kung paano niya ma-overcome ang lahat ng ito. Ang toxic positivity ay opposite ng kahulugan ng grit kasi ang toxic positivity, if you will try to look at it, ito ay nakafocus lang. You are just focusing on good aspects of life. No? You are just trying to embrace the goodness or positive human experiences. Nagiging toxic siya, tinatawag nating sang toxic positivity kapag yung taong ito dumating sa pagkakataon na doon lang siya nakafocus, no? Doon lang siya nakafocus kung ano maganda. Doon lang nakafocus sa masaya. Doon lang siya nagpe-pay attention kung gaano kaganda ang buhay. And toxic siya dahil kapag ang tao ay nakafocus lang sa ganitong klaseng perspective, this can turn into lies and deceptions, and in the end you will really suffer inside, no? I will give a specific example para mas maintindihan ng lahat.
Sige po.
Okay. Siguro for teenagers and adults and everybody's experiencing to love, no? So
Yes.
halimbawa, so halimbawa you love someone and you really express that love for the person, no? But the problem is that person cannot reciprocate your love.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
ang toxic positivity ay sinabi na nga sa'yo na hindi ka niya mahal, no? Na wala nang pag-asa. Ayun na. Pero ikaw, lagi mo sinasabi sa isip mo, hindi, darating ang araw, mamahalin niya rin ako. Ikaw, ang kulit-kulit mo, no? Express ka pa rin na express na love sa kabila ng reality, sa kabila ng reality na sinabihan ka na hindi ka niya mahal. No?
Opo.
So, oo. So, and at the same time, no, ang mangyayari sa iyo, no, pag hindi mo tinanggap yung sitwasyon na yon, pwede ka maging defensive at sasabihin mo, di kung hindi mo na ako mahal, hindi na rin kita mahal. Ang tanong doon, totoo ba yon? Sinasabi mo bang hindi siya mahal kasi nasaktan ka? O sinasabi mo hindi siya mahal kasi nahihiya ka tanggapin ang worst and embarrassing chapter of that life, no? So yun, nagiging toxic siya. Nagiging sobrang toxic na siya kasi ang consequence nito is, number 1, nagkakaroon ka ng defense mechanism, at number 2, hindi mo matanggap yung katotohanan, number 3, you keep on pursuing the person despite the fact that the person already told you that he doesn't or she doesn't love you at all, no? So it hurts inside, para siyang poison. Masasaktan ka sa sarili mo, at kapag nasaktan ka lang masyado sa sarili mo and you become a wounded person, then this can pass on to another. It's just like a chain reaction. Why? Because your relationship to yourself will always be your relationship to other people. These are the simple or the G's explanations between greed and toxic positivity.
Kasi, ayan, Miss Taylor, no? Kasi ngayon, di ba, parang sinasabi na positive, positive vibes lang or good vibes lang. Kasi, di ba, may naranasan tayong pandemic ngayon. So, is it okay ba na lagi nating sabihin na ano lang tayo, positive vibes lang tayo, good vibes lang tayo. Let's not talk about any negative. So, is that being toxic positive rin po ba?
Okay, I will answer that in two perspectives, no? First is based on research, and the other one is based on my experience. Okay, based on research, that is not healthy. That is not helpful. Now, for you to find solution to the problem, you need to talk about it. Na? For you to have courage or para maging matatag ka on how to face these problems, you need to discuss it and you need to admit that there is something wrong. This is accepting the realities of life, the other side of life, which is not really good. Okay? Why is this important? Because the more you will accept these realities, the more you will confront these realities, you will have power, you will have strength, no? To overcome what is wrong and to overcome your limitation and weaknesses. So I will give an example, okay? I will give an example. Halimbawa, kung lagi nating sasabihin sa isa't isa, oh, good vibes lang ha, wag tayong magnood ng news about the pandemic. Huwag nating alamin kung ano nangyayari sa pandemic. And therefore, how would you react? How would you do something about it? How would you take courses of action about it? No? Kapag hindi mo tinanggap sa sarili mo na nade-depress ka, nalulungkot ako, nandito lang ako sa bahay, and you will not vent it out, no? If you will not share even to yourself, no, or admit to yourself and share with yourself and to those people whom you really trust na these are the adverse effects of the pandemic, therefore, how would you cope it? No? How would you cope it? So parang ganito yan simpleng analogy na uuhaw ka. Okay. Pag hindi mo tinanggap na nauuhaw ka, paano ka iinom? How would you respond? Something like that. That's definitely based on research, no? So, pangalawa, based on my personal experience amidst the pandemic, napansin ko, I tried my best, no? Na hindi makinig ng news, no? At hindi makinig ng news, hindi makinig sa adverse effects ng pandemic na ito. Kaya lang, at the end of the day, no, parang niloloko ko lang sarili ko because other people are talking about it and this is the reality that I need to face. So, kapag ganyan na nangyari, the more that you will think about it. Basic analogy, Miss Joanne, this is an orange. What are you thinking right now? If I'll tell you, Miss Joanne, this is an orange and I don't want you to think about an orange. My question is, what are you thinking about now?
Wala.
You can still think of an orange, right? So
Yeah.
that's the impact of not really accepting these realities. But the if you will try to look at into different studies in psychology, the more that you will accept the reality, the more that you will face the truth, embrace these realities without a tone of despair. So, ibig sabihin nun, the more na binubuksan mo ang sarili mo sa pagtanggap ng realidad ng mundo, sa pagtanggap ng katotohanan, the more na nag-guide mo rin ang sarili mo na hindi ma-depress, na hindi ito maging representation, or this will not depict, no? This will not depict your disappointments that it's over, no? Ito ay nagiging strength mo to find ways on how to respond to it. Tignan mo yung ating mga frontliners, no? Ang hirap ng ginagawa nila, and they are facing the realities na maraming nagkakaroon ng COVID, but at the end of the day, they still keep on improving on how to take care of this patient. At magugulat ka, kahit pagod na pagod nga, pag may gumagaling, nagpapalakpakan. That is the effect, no? That is the effect of accepting the realities without a tone of despair. If you notice, because many Filipinos are admitting this reality and accepting the truth that we are now experiencing this pandemic, look at the other perspective, the other opinions of many Filipinos nowadays. Malalagpasan din natin yan. Next year, mawawala din yan. Matatapos din yan. No? We are moving to that hope, and we are moving to the beauty of life despite this problem. That's the beauty of it. And ang pinakamaganda dito na principle is, kapag na-accept mo yung realities without a tone of despair, you will still declare life is still beautiful despite problems. That you can still declare that despite love, at times nasasaktan ka dito sa pagmamahal na ito, it still feels good to love. And it's okay if you will be hurt in the end, because at least you are being taught how to love. And in this pandemic, even though we are experiencing complexities or adverse effects of the pandemic, the more that we are appreciating one another, and the more that we are doing something to respond to what we need to do. Like for instance, no, marami ng mga webinars ngayon. Nag-stop ba ang school? Hindi. We are still continuing it. That's the power, that's the strength if we will face these realities.
First, napakaganda po ng inyong pag-explain sa amin kung ano yung toxic positivity, and yung mga how can it help us to learn sa kung ano ang nangyayari sa mundo, no? Ayan. Ito naman po, Ma'am Taylor. Kasi 'di ba po, ayan. Sabi niyo nga po, toxic positivity is somewhat bad, no? So what if po, yan, you know someone na may ganito, being a toxic positive person. How are we going to deal with someone na toxic positive na person?
Okay. Medyo dyan sa tanong na yan, it really the answers really varies, no? But I will answer that question through examples. Okay? Kapag ang isang tao laging sinasabi, halimbawa sa office work or sa isang school, na oy, ano lang tayo dito, good vibes. We just need to laugh. We just need to be happy. You know, Miss Joanne, there's nothing wrong with that, no? Kasi we need to be positive, okay? Kaya lang, kung halimbawang ikaw ay may problema, bigla kang naiyak, no? Ng lunch break at hapon, at nagsalita yung tao na, uy, wag naman tayong umiyak dito, good vibes lang, hindi pwede yung ganyan. Siguro, the best way to respond to that person is to have a dialogue. No, hindi natin siya siguro sagutin sa harapan ng iba. You know what, Miss Joanne? Kasi lahat ng conviction ng tao, lahat ng sinasabi ng tao, may pinanggagalingan yan. There is a driving force. No? You are having speculations, you are having convictions, and you want to share these convictions because you are coming from something which is very strong. No? Pwedeng na-experience mo, pwedeng nabasa mo, pwedeng naaral mo. And siguro yung mga taong puro positive, naka-focus sa positive, maaaring napag-aralan nila, na-experience nila, convince sila that this is the right thing to do. And therefore, we need to respect that perspective. However, not all people are like that. No? Not all people have this kind of principle because somehow it is not healthy. So the best thing that you can do is to have a dialogue. No? Hindi natin po pwedeng ipahiya yung tao sa iba or else it will just simply create a conflict. So pwede kang maging totoo sa kanya, kausapin mo siya, ma'am, sir, pwede ba tayo mag-usap? Kasi naintindihan ko naman na bawal ang magkwento na hindi maganda, bawal umiyak, pero I'm a human person, please allow me to be human. Sana if you want us to respect that kind of principle, sana ma-respeto mo rin yung aking principle. So kasi hindi po pwede tayong laging mag-argue, no? Hindi na, at kung yung argument na yun magli-lead sa more conflicts, wag na lang minsan magsalita because relationship is very important. But a dialogue, a sincere dialogue will really help, no? Para lang makapag-share din siya ng reason niya, saan siya magagalit, saan siya nang gagaling, at maintindihan ka rin niya kung saan ka nang gagaling. And from there, you can share one's other's perspectives, no? And from there, you can definitely adjust. Second, naniniwala rin kasi ako sa timing, no? Sa proper timing. Minsan, hindi na kailangan ng dialogue, no? Minsan naman, kung napapansin natin na, halimbawa, hindi na tayo close sa taong ito, pero napapansin natin, ganito yung kine-create ng culture, ganito yung ugali, and then, you can set a seminar like this and discuss toxic positivity. So, indirectly, you are telling them na this is the other perspective that you need to consider. Hindi lang yung perspective mo. And the seminar like this, a webinar like this, can orient or help the help the people to have this kind of principle in life and to consider this kind of knowledge.
Okay, thank you very much po, Ms. Taylor. So eto, may tanong po tayo dito, Ma'am Taylor.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, may kinalaman po ba ang kultura ng isang tao kung paano niya nakikita ang silver lining sa mga nangyayaring negatibo sa paligid natin?
Definitely yes, no? Definitely yes, no? Culture is very very powerful, no? Hindi lang siya sa silver lining. In fact, culture really affects the way we think, the way we feel, and the way we behave. I would like to base this in research, and for the person who asked that question, I am suggesting to look into Marcus and Kitayama, 1991. It's an article, no? These are the two researchers, no, who went to Asian countries, to the Philippines, specifically isa sa mga pinuntahan nila ay Philippines, at pinag-aralan nila yung culture ng Asian. At kinumpare na nila ito sa culture ng Western. Again, I will repeat their names for further research, no? Kasi baka hindi ko ma-discuss dito in details kasi mahaba siya. Marcus and Kitayama, it's M-A-R-K-U-S. Kitayama, K-I-T-A-Y-A-M-A. Ang pag-aaral ni Marcus and Kitayama, especially noong 1991, sinabi nila na ang maraming Pilipino o yung Asian countries, in a collectivist view, we are called interdependent construals. Pag sinabi mong construal, ano ba ibig sabihin nito? The construal is how you perceive, how you deem yourself based on the behavior and attitude of people towards you, or based on what's happening in the world. So, kung ano yung nakikita mo sa sarili mo, paano mo na-perceive kung sino ka at ano ka, kung gaano ka kaimportante, gaano ang kahalagahan mo, no? Nakabase din ito kung paano ang mga tao nagbe-behave o nagre-react sa'yo. So what people think about you, how people behave towards you, how people interact towards you, all of these can affect or influence your thinking about who you are. Your perspective or view of how significant you are can also, I'm giving emphasis, can also be based on the people around us or what's happening around us. Majority kasi nito ay talagang nakaka-influence yung mga tao sa paligid natin. That is what we call construal. Pag sinabi mong interdependent construal, it means that many Filipinos, no, ang culture natin, we are easily affected by social connectedness or interactions. I'll give you an example, no, kung napansin natin, minsan sa pag-aaral ng mga researchers, may mga sinasabi sila doon na kahit sa emosyon, no? Sa emosyon nakakaapekto pa rin ang ating social connectedness. Example, kapag ikaw ay gusto mo mag-excel sa trabaho mo, no? Halimbawa sa DepEd, you want to excel. The question is it just all about you? Would you always attribute it to yourself? Sa ganitong klaseng segment, gusto mo ba, Miss Joanne, na sasabihin lang nila, oh, this segment becomes so successful because of Miss Joanne?
Oh, of course, hindi po.
Oh, definitely. That is a very Filipino culture, no? Siyempre, somehow matutuwa ka doon, no? But at the same time, parang nararamdaman mo na hindi lang naman ako ang naging responsible sa success nito at marami akong kasama. You want to always attribute it to the DepEd, no? Sa division nyo, sa organization nyo, sa team nyo. You are attributing the success to other people. Why? Because Filipinos think kapag nangyari ito, this can deepen your relationship with one another. Bakit ba gustong lumabas ng maraming Pilipino? Is it just for fun? Or is it just about matanggal yung stress? No, di ba? Basically, sa pag-aaral ni Marcos and Katayama, you want to do that simply because interconnectedness or social interaction is very, very important to you. That's very, very Filipino. Therefore, lahat ng bagay maaapektuhan nito, not just the silver lining that you are talking about. So, ibig sabihin, kapag tayo nag-build ng culture na to have a grit and to avoid toxic positivity, at a majority of us have this kind of purpose, have this kind of perspective, then this can also influence those people who don't believe in the power of grit. So, kung ano ang majority, minsan nadadala niya yung individual perspective principle na i-influence niya. No? That's how powerful culture is. Sa Western culture kasi meron siyang tinatawag na independent construal. Ang mga Western countries, hindi nila ina-attribute yung kanilang excellence, yung kanilang trabaho sa katrabaho nila. It's their establishment will always be based on their own aptitude. Okay? So they are called the interdependent construal. So therefore, definitely yes, culture will always affect. Kaya nga importante to build a healthier and happier culture, no? And that is very, very possible. Meron kasi din meron tayong tinatawag na different ways and means on how to achieve it. Kaso masyadong mahaba. Okay, masyado siya mahaba. It will be abutin tayo ng 1 hour.
Ayan, actually, yun na po ang tatanungin ko. So, how are we going to build that culture, no, na culture of grit, no? Kasi ngayon we are so divided, no? Dahil sa nangyayari na din sa kasalukuyan.
Oh yeah.
So how are we going to promote that kind of culture?
Okay. So, again, I will base this on research and my personal experience. Kapag
Sige
po
po.
tinignan nyo po yung, kapag tinignan nyo po yung mga theories, like the theories of Carlos Bandura, no? Napakahalaga na mag-observe. No? Ang pag-o-observe sa behavior, reactions, or kinikilos ng mga tao sa paligid natin. Napakahalaga niya. In fact, para tayo magkaroon ng efficacy, no? Magkaroon tayo ng efficacy to have a grit, kailangan magsimula sa atin. We need to behave, we need to speak as a person with grit. But not necessarily naman na ang sasabihin mo lagi, hoy, we need to be courageous in accepting adversities. Hindi gano'n, no? But even without words or even without sharing, people can see in you your grit. For example, sa trabaho, ang dami mong trabaho, and then people observe, no? People observe that you are very tedious and then you are working really hard. Then, the mere fact na nakikita ka nila na sa pagtatrabaho mo, you are excelling, then you can be an inspiration without saying any word. Halimbawa, to come to a meeting on time. Kapag ikaw consistent ka, no? To come to the meeting on the pag sinabing 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 8:30. Even without any word, people will notice that, people will observe that. At kapag halimbawa, 10 kayo nga attend ng meeting at sinabing 8 o'clock, at majority kayo, no, 8 of you came there mga 5 minutes before 8 o'clock, yung dalawang hindi uma-attend ng on time, you can influence them to come on time. Baka sumunod na mga araw ay umattend na sila ng 7:45, no, or 5 minutes before 8 o'clock. So, gestures, actions are very, very powerful. Observe mo, Miss Joanne, no? Halimbawa, bigyan ko lang kayo ng simple analogy. Example po, nagkaroon ng misunderstanding, a friend, family, or boyfriend or girlfriend, no? Hindi mo kibuin, hindi ka mag-reply sa text, hindi ka mag-reply sa email, mas matataranta yung taong yun, di ba? Action is very, very powerful. The same thing in building grit, no? Kailangan siya makita ng mga tao sa paligid mo. And yun yung po yung isang step on how to influence people to have that grit. And second, of course, if I will try to integrate the research study of Angela Duckworth, una, sinasabi niya is to be with gritty people. No? Siguro, kapag nakita mo na yung mga taong ito napakasipag sa trabaho, kaya pa rin ngumiti kahit pagod na, kaya pa rin mag-appreciate ng tao, kaya pa rin mag-appreciate ng mga nangyayari sa paligid niya, kahit mayroong problema, at kayang pag-usapan yung mga problema, and at the same time, kayang magbigay ng solusyon sa problema, then we can influence one another. Sabi nga ni Jim Wright, no, you are the average of 5 people you spent with. So, kung sino po yung mas madalas mong sinasamahan, mas mai-influence ka niya. Kaya kung sasama ka madalas sa mga taong may ganyang attitude, then you can be influenced. So, another analogy is, halimbawa, ikaw ay hindi ka affirming, no? Tapos yung mga tao lagi mong sinasamahan ay napaka-masaya, napaka-affirming. Tulad mo, ma'am, napakasaya mo. Kung ang tao ay hindi masaya, you can influence them na maging masaya din. Kapag lagi kang kasama, baka ma-imbibe niya or ma-adapt niya yung ganyang personality. And this is the reason why we are encouraged to observe people who have grit, and at the same time try to spend time with them. No? So, second, bigay ko na yung 5, ha?
Sige po, ma'am. Kasi napaka-interesting ito. Kasi actually, ma'am, gusto ko idagdag doon sa huli mong sinabi kanina. Kasi di ba, you've mentioned na kung sino yung mga sinasamahan mo, parang nakukuha mo din yung attitudes or behaviors nila. No? Kasi kaya parang sabi ko, ay, totoo nga siguro yung sinasabi nila na, tell me who your friends are. And I tell you who you are. Ganon. So, actually, totoo naman yun. No, ayun. Kasi yung influence talaga, no? Between
that's the advice also. Mm. That's the advice also of many psychologists and many researchers, no? So kung ikaw naman gusto mo maging optimistic na tao, you spend time with those people who are optimistic. Kasi the more you spend time with them, the more that you can influence one another and adapt one's behavior and personality. No? That's the power of spending time with them and observing their attitude. So ang second naman dito is you really need to get out of your comfort zones. No? Why is it important for us to get out of our comfort zone? So that we can pursue our interest. Minsan kasi, no, ang mga tao, hindi nila alam pag tinatanong ang sarili, saan ba ako talaga interesado? Ano ba nga ba interest ko? So,
Oh,
para
wow,
malaman ng
question
tao,
ba?
oo.
Parang question din ako, saan ba talaga ako tinatawag?
Oo. So, you really need to get out of your comfort zone. Try new things, no? Why is that really important? Kasi pag nalaman mo yung iyong interest, you will have that kind of desire. And once you have that kind of desire, this can be your driving force to be better. Kaya po sa grit, ganun din, no? If you want to have that grit, you want to practice that grit, you want to develop that grit, you need to know what's your interest. And one step that you can do, how to do that, is to get out of your comfort zone. Ang example po nito, this pandemic, di ba? Marami ngayon sa atin na na-discover nila, may interest pala sila sa cooking and baking. No, hindi nila malalaman
Yes.
yon, no? Kung hindi sila nag-get out sa kanilang comfort zones. So ngayon sinabi nila ay kaya ko pala magluto, kaya ko palang mag-bake.
Mag-knead ng dough.
Yeah, definitely. Oo. Like in my case, ako naman parang before, I was interested maglaro lang ako ng badminton, no? Sabi nila, ang hirap pagka pinagsama ang badminton at saka ang tennis. But sabi ko, wala namang mawawala if I will try. So last year, I enrolled, and nakita ko pala may interest din ako sa tennis. So my point is, ang interest natin, marami, no? Marami siya. At the more na madidiscover, yeah, and the more you will discover your skills or abilities and capabilities, if you will try to do new things, at least you try, no? So, pag try hindi mo nagustuhan, then you give up mo. But if you try nagustuhan mo, that's the time that you will have a driving force to do better. Katulad ngayon, di ba? Yung pandemic ngayon, na-discover yung magaling sila mag-bake, magaling sila magluto, nagustuhan nila, then they are really learning and striving very hard on how to improve that stuff. That's the reason why sa third po na suggestion ni Angela Duckworth, practice, no, is very important, no? Para magkaroon ka ng grit. So, once na na-discover mo ang iyong interest, once na nagustuhan mo yung ginagawa mo at yung special skills mo, you will never stop, no? Magpa-practice ka na magpa-practice hanggang sa makapag-improve ka at maging better ka. Like for example, in your segment, I heard last time, no? I heard from Sir Miguel, para nag-i-improve na tayo, ang ganda-ganda na ng ating segments, yung technical difficulty hindi na masyado. Okay, that's the power kasi of practice. Hindi ka makokontento na hanggang dito lang. You want to improve it, you want to become better, no? At kapag nag-practice ka at na-develop yung improvement sa areas ng skills mo, areas ng behavior mo at ng life mo, then it will create courage, no? It will create courage for you to face whatever difficulties you will experience. Kasi sa pagpa-practice mo, definitely magfe-fail ka. Hindi naman makupa-perfect natin yung ating skill or craft in one trial, di ba? So maraming trials yan. So kung yung magka-fail ka, na-experience mo din ng success, and therefore, natitrain ang skills mo, ang brain mo to tell you, no? To really tell you, oh, you can do better. And therefore, this can develop courage. Bakit nung ginagawa nating efforts na ito, natitrain tayo i-develop ang grit? Because in psychology, our brain has what we call neuroplasticity. Ang neuroplasticity in the brain is very flexible, no? Very, very flexible. At nagbabago yung kanyang movement, yung remapping ng cortical, no? Parts of the brain, based on your efforts and experience. Basic analogy lang. Basic analogy para nakaka-apekto yung neuroplasticity sa brain. Malungkot ka, depressed ka. Try mo manood ng sa Netflix, no? Try mo manood ng jokes, no? Meron ako doon pinapanood na comedy shows, nalimutan ko lang, no? But you try to watch it kahit malungkot ka, kahit ayaw mong ngumiti, mapapangiti ka, mapapatawa ka because of that neuroplasticity, no? The same thing sa pagda-develop ng grit, no? Halimbawa sa una, hindi ka courageous on how to face failures, how to face problems, but the moment you are practicing and experiencing failures and at the same time improvement, then the neuroplasticity in the brain will work and will tell you, oh, you can do it. And therefore, it can develop a pattern of behavior. And one of these patterns of behavior is being courageous to face these problems. So, meron pang dalawa yan.
That's the third. So, nakatatlo na tayo, no? Okay.
Oo, nakatatlo na.
Kasi napaka-interesting na to, no? Ma'am, before you go on the next
okay.
two, no? Ayan, may mga ano tayo dito. Ayan, mula kay Ms. Rosalina Cabato Limbok. Ito, nasabi nito kanina, ma'am, no? True, ma'am, agree siya. May pinaghuhugutan that person, let her or him talk that way. We ease somebody's burden. Ito yung you have to have a dialogue, no, with your peers to talk about the toxic positivity, especially in the workplace. And ito mula kay Ariete de la Vega. Uy, all the way from General Santos City. Sa mga taga-Soxer dyan, mga taga-Jensan, maayong aga po sa tanan. Being optimistic at hopeful ay nakakatulong para malagpasan natin ang mga problemang ating hinaharap. Good job to our wellness check people. Thank you very much po. Ayan, sige po ma'am, mamaya ko nalang basahin ng iba para hindi naman tayo mabitin sa ating 5 ways to have this grit.
Okay. So mabilis na lang to. Yung pang-apat, Lynn, is you need to know your purpose, na? The driving force or the fuel that will keep you on moving forward is to know your purpose and the meaning of what you are doing. Sabi nga ni Rick Warren, the pathway to significance is service, no? Ibig sabihin nun na kapag ikaw nalaman mo yung purpose mo kung bakit mo to ginagawa and you serve and you use these skills, intelligence or craft that you mastered to serve other people, then there will always be satisfaction and joy. Like for example, no? Example nandito yung friend ko, one of my friends who is a doctor, no? Nag-usap kami nun last time. Sabi ko sa kanya, bakit ba kahit may COVID, pwede ka namang mag-leave. Patuloy ka pa rin nagsaserve. Ang sabi niya sa akin, simple lang. Hindi ko po maintindihan din, Kaylor, ang sarili ko, no? At kami mga doctors, no? Napapagod kami, pero pag may nakikita kaming gumagaling, nagpapalakpakan kami, no? That's a very good explanation and basic analogy na kapag nalaman mo ang purpose mo at meaning sa ginagawa mo, gaano pa siya kahirap, you will not stop improving yourself to serve because you can't explain the joy that you are experiencing.
So inspiring.
Diba? So para din yung So pag naramdaman mo na siya, na-experience mo na siya, bigla na lang may mararamdaman ka na joy na hindi mo siya ma-explain. And then this will also develop you to have a grit, no? Kasi ang grit naman is not only for yourself but also for other people, no? You are being trained by the grit to always improve for your own betterment and for the betterment of other people as well. And of course, ang pinakamahalaga dito, aside from having your purpose, no, trying to find meaning to what you are doing, is just to simply celebrate simple things, no, to appreciate even simple things, simple victory. You celebrate your simple victory. Halimbawa, napagod ka, natapos mo to, hi, salamat, natatapos ko na siya kahit mahirap. Because this will teach you, your neuroplasticity in your brain will teach you and will always remind you, kahit mahirap, matatapos din yan. At pag natapos mo yan, magiging masaya ka. Na? So ganito rin yung magiging attitude natin sa pandemic. Mahirap ito, ngayon to, oo, pero matatapos natin ito at kakayanin natin ito.
Wow. So ayan po, no,
Mm.
mga mamas and sirs, no, napakaganda nung na-share ni Ma'am Kay, no, na ayan about grit, no, na kailangan, no, makita natin talaga ito, no, and
Mm-mm.
pwede naman talaga tayong matuto nito. I mean, we can learn this from other person na nakikita natin na merong grit, no. And of course, we have ito. Siguro ito talaga yung ano ko dito, yung get out of our comfort zone. Kasi minsan talaga we are driven by our fears na, oh my God, hindi ko ito
Mm-mm.
kaya. Parang, ano yung mga what ifs, di ba po? So, ayan,
Yeah.
napakaganda nito.
Mm-mm.
Really have to get out of our comfort zone. And we have to practice it, practice. So, hindi man perfect, but better.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes. Oo. Ay, dagdag ko lang, Miss Joanne, if you don't
Sige po.
mind. No? Oo. Kasi, ang kagandahan ng grit, marami siyang components ng optimism, resiliency, at saka ang madedevelop pa natin kapag sa ganyang getting out of comfort zone, to have a practice, it can lead us to excellence. Ano ba yung excellence na yun? It's really different from perfection. Ang perfection kasi parang wala ka ng mali. Ang excellence
Yes.
is that, ang excellence, parang you are trying to be at your best despite the failures, no, that it may occur, no, despite the negative effects it may occur, because you will never be satisfied until you find the best skills for you to improve your task. At kapag naging cycle yun, naging pattern ng behavior mo yon, no, from a hobby, it can become your character. Kaya a person who has grit can develop excellence. And this is the reason why, if you will try to look at into research, ang sinasabi ng excellence is associated with virtue. Nagiging virtue na siya. Kasi sa hobby mo to improve yourself, sa hobby mo to correct your mistakes and to become better, you are going towards excellence. And you are not afraid to be on the process of struggle to excel. Kaya minsan, mas na-appreciate at mas nagiging effective, no, ang impact sa tao ng excellent people rather than perfectionist people.
Okay. Pakaganda po na share ni Ma'am. So, yung excellence. Kaya pala yung mga schools talaga, no, nakikita ko sa mga logo nila. Lahat, karamihan may excellence. Wow, kaya pala, yun
Yes.
pala yung naintindihan ng Kaylor. Talagang nasusingit ko sa mga schools na. Ayan, and of course, eto, no, knowing our purpose. Kasi nabasa ko yung isang comment dito, no, mula kay Miss Gina Rollamas, all the way from La Union. Hello po sa mga taga La Union, DepEd La Union, DepEd Region 1, no. Grit ay nakakatulong sa atin para mas magawa natin ang mga bagay na akala natin ay hindi kaya in relation with getting out of our comfort zone. And of course, eto, yung ikalima po ay celebrate simple victories. Yeah, oh my gosh. So we really have to do this, no? Kasi para makap talaga yung pinagdaanan natin. So parang inisip ko tuloy ngayon, Ma'am Taylor, kung ano bang gagawin ko pagkatapos ng COVID. Okay. So ayan mga ma'am sisters, kung may mga tanong po kayo tungkol sa grit and toxic positivity, please share it with us. Ayan, basahin ko po dito yung comment ni Dennis Cruiser. Very informative, nakaka-relate ako. Ayan. Sige po, sir, kung meron pa kayong gustong i-share, share niyo lamang po yan. Okay, so eto naman, Ma'am Taylor. Eto. Part of being human, giving up or quitting. Is it a sign of weakness?
No.
Kasi 'di ba po minsan parang iniisip natin na I won't quit kasi kaya ko to, I won't quit. Pero kasi parang iniisip lagi na quitting is not an option because parang sabihin nila I'm a weak person pag nag-quit ako.
Okay. That's a very interesting question, Miss Joanne, no? Again, let me answer that based on research and based on my personal experience, okay? So, according to Angela Duckworth, ang may grit na tao should never give up their goals, no? Should never give up what they really desire for. Okay? That's the very essence of grit, because through this kind of character, or having this kind of grit in us, will help us to progress, will help us to be successful and be happy. However, we need to accept the other perspective of life, no? Another values which can be higher than greed. And what are these? Some examples are love, respect, and relationship, no? Kung ang tao ay naa-abuse ang paggamit niya ng greed to hurt other people, no, to degrade the dignity of other people, then you need to quit. It is not greed anymore. It is what we call abuse. Okay? Abuse na siya. Then, pangalawa, because there are values which are higher than greed, no? We need to quit. There are times that we need to quit. Okay, what are these instances? Halimbawa, katulad ng example ko sa love. Pagpipilitan mo pa ba ang sarili mo sa isang taong hindi ka talaga mahal at sinabi niya na sa hindi mahal?
It really hurts.
Ang grit kasi, you will never stop. But in this kind of situation, iisipin mo na, what is this value which is higher than grit? That is loving myself. And that is loving the person whom I love. If I really truly love the person, and therefore I will just simply continue to love him or her from a distance. But I need to respect that he or she cannot love me in return. No? So, mahalaga yan. You need to quit. You need to let go. It is not a depiction. It is not a depiction of weaknesses, no? It is not a depiction of surrender. There are times that the quitting or letting go or moving on, these are our ways on how to heal ourselves, on how to love ourselves, and how to love and give respect to other people as well. Halimbawa, hindi ka na masaya, napapagod ka na, ba? Simple analogy lang to sa trabaho. Halimbawa, 8 hours ka lang tatrabaho sa work, may kailangan kang tapusin. Sabi ng body mo, pagod ka na, inuubo ka na, nilalagnat ka na. Will you not quit? You need to pause for a while. You need to relax. Ang sa akin kasi, Miss Joanne, ito naman based on my own experience, I think it's better to say to move on than letting go. Kasi pag sinabi mong let go, nililet go mo na yung relationship mo sa tao, or nile-let go mo na yung experience mo with the person or with the situation, and that's not impossible. Everything is in the brain, nakastore lang yan sa ating memories. The best thing that we can do is to keep on moving forward, because when you keep on moving forward, you know that it happened, you know all these things happened, and these things are happening, but you are very willing to keep moving forward for you to be healed and to be happy. And therefore, hindi mali ang mag-quit and to move forward. Or maybe sa grit naman, meron tayong sinatawag sa grit na pwedeng palitan mo yung means and ways how you are achieving your goal, no? Iibahin mo lang yung means and ways, i-quit mo siya, you will move forward to the next para you can become better and look for another resources and how to achieve that dream. So example, yung sa business ngayon, yung online business, di ba? Halimbawa, wala nagpa-patronize ang niluluto mo. Gusto mo talaga ang goal mo and to survive amidst pandemic.
Yeah.
So pagpapatuloy mo pa ba yung recipe na? You need to quit. But what you will just quit are your means and ways, no? Maghahanap ka ulit ng bagong pagkakitaan, pwede naman ibang online selling, until ma-discover mo kung saan ka magkakaroon ng maraming customers. That's the beauty of grit, no? You are opening yourself to the possibilities for more opportunities for you to be healed, to be successful, to be contented, fulfilled, and happy in your life, in your all perspectives of life.
Napakaganda po ng inyong na-share, ma'am, no? Parang ako din, napaisip tuloy ako. Sige, I have to let go, move forward to become better. Okay, so here may question dito, very interesting po, mula kay Miss Lara Salaysay. And I think lahat kami ay makaka-benefit dito. Any tips daw po for the young people and for adults na rin who are still learning about their purpose. Kasi ito po yung ano ngayon eh. Ito yung sabi ko kanina, no? Saan ba ako tinatawag? Ano ba talaga ang
Mm-mm.
purpose ko dito sa mundo? Ano ba mga dapat kong gawin? Kasi ito yung ano eh, parang we are lost kung ano ba talaga yung dapat gawin.
Mm-mm. That's a very, very interesting question po, ma'am. I can give you 3 answers. No? First, unang-una, napakahirap malaman mo, ma-decipher mo, ma-comprehend mo yung purpose mo sa buhay. Even tayo, meron na tayong edad, minsan nahihirapan tayo to really know what's really our purpose. Okay? I want to accept that reality. But the good news is there are many ways on how to find this purpose, no matter how difficult it is. First, there are times in our lives that we need to have silence. No? Kailangan kasi sobra ng loud ang sa paligid natin. We are bombarded with the events happening around, no? What we see, kung anong naririnig natin sa mga tao at mga tao. So minsan na-overwhelm tayo ng mga noise na ito to the extent na hindi na tayo nagkakaroon ng time para sa ating sarili to have silence, no? I think silence is very, very important. So pag para makapag-isip ng maayos, so that you can weigh things, no? You can rational things, and to even ask yourself about many things, no? Napaka-importante niyan. And then from there, you will just discover na, oops, ito pala ang dapat kong gawin. Ito pala yung meaning ng buhay ko. Ito pala yung purpose ng buhay ko. Hindi mo marirealize yan minsan eh. No? You cannot just simply realize it in an abrupt, in just one flick of a finger. It is a process. But we need to undergo a process. Like for example, ulit, di ba? Ngayong pandemic, I'm sure, no? Ngayong madalas na tayo nasa bahay, nag-work, I am sure marami tayong realizations. At na-discover natin what is more important in life. Marami akong sharing, Kaylor, kaya ko pala maging simple. Meron kasi akong kaibigan, just go for travel ng travel. Travel siya ng travel, tsaka kailangan lagi siya may mga bagong gamit, no, stuff. Para ngayon, parang sinabi niya, kaya ko naman pala, Kaylor, na maging masaya. At kaya ko rin naman palang tumulong sa kapwa ko. Doon nakita niya yung purpose. Sabi niya, ito pala rin yung isang magandang purpose. Ba't nagkaroon ng pandemic? Para ma-discover tong mga realities na to. Pangalawa, meron akong friends din, no, and relatives, no, na nagkaroon ng medyo tampuhan. And then they realize, no, through silence, we need to forgive each other. Marami ng problema sa mundo. Huwag na tayong mag-away. Huwag na nating dagdagan. So, silence, Miss Joanne, I think is very, very important. And then you can spend journal writing to write. No? Writing is very, very good. Journal writing is very good for you to have some reflection and realize important things in your life. And then second, to have me time. Na marami tayong lagi nating binibigay yung ating sarili, service sa ibang tao, but we need to be balanced. It's very, very, very important to serve, no? It's very important for us to contribute something to our community. But again, we need also to have what we call me time. Even sa married life, no? Madalas kasama yung husbands and your wife, no? But I think it's very important also to have me time para magawa mo rin yung gusto mo, to get out of your comfort zone and try to discover the new skills that in a way will help you to find na ito pala ang aking mga strength. At last na lang po, Miss Joanne, third is human knowledge, human strength. For me, no, I limited. I think aside from silence, aside from me time, we need also to pray. We need to ask God's intervention. Ito po ay hindi na, yung pangatlo po ay hindi na po ito based on research. This is now based on my experience. Oo, personal answer ko na ito. I think God is really is really, really important in our lives. Kasi may mga bagay na no matter how you tried your best to be quiet, hindi mo pa rin makuha ang sagot. Ang dami mo nang ginawa para ma-find yung answer na yon, to discover your purpose, to discover your meaning, pero walang nangyayari. I think it's time for you to ask for God's help for that.
Parang naisip ko po tuloy na kaya ang iba talaga, they really go for soul searching to have that silence, me time, and of course, no, to ask for that divine intervention, no, and
Yeah.
finding that purpose. And Miss Kay, no, I am glad that we are joined today by Director Ronnie. So she wants to share something, no, about grit. Okay, so good morning, Director Ronnie. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Jo, and good morning, Kay.
Good morning, Ma. Good morning, Doc.
And sabi ko naka-identify ako doon sa sa sinasabi mo. I'd like to kasi the question is very kumbaga malalim, no? Yung tanong. Because totoo 'yun, all throughout our lives we will be asking the question of purpose. Because as human beings, we at the deepest core of our hearts, of our being, we look for meaning. Di ba? Kahit na yung mga nagsasabing, ay nako, lang yung kala mo, matigas at mga no, everybody is looking for meaning, di ba? Of our existence, no? And yung siguro yung sa karanasan ko lang din, no, yung observations ko sa tao at sa aking pagbabasa din, madalas ang identification kasi natin ng purpose yung trabaho natin, yung ginagawa, di ba? Kaya doon tayo nadadapa kasi kaya di ba? Pag may nangyayari sa atin na hindi maganda at lahat, immediately we decide we get out. Diba? May mga ganon na because yung natin, yung trabaho becomes for us the purpose. Pero maganda yung sinabi mo, Kaylor, yung sa kaibigan mo, di ba sabi niya, pwede pala akong tumulong sa kapwa. Yung pala may purpose ang buhay ko. Yung pagkasabing gano'n, nagulat nga ako sa sinabi mo. Because, siguro yun yung kailangan tingnan. So, yung mga tulad ko na tumanda na, pag tinatanong ko, example for my husband, to be anong bang mo? Anong purpose mo? Saan mo na-draw ang meaning ng buhay mo at lahat? So the answers are like your friend. The general lang. It's not necessarily the work, because the work is simply a means and ways as you said so. Di ba? So kaya ang minsan sinasabi ko, you find, of course you will have to, there will be moments in your life where the means and ways become different already. But the purpose is there. It's consistent. It may even grow. Diba? It will expand. It will have various perspectives and all that. Dala mo pa rin. Gano'n. Pero the manifestations may become different in different work that you will go. So yun. So kailangan yun. Kailangan may distinction yun. Yung basic meaning na hinahanap ng puso at saka yung manifestation niya in the different works that you will have to where you are going to transfer or where you are in. And that's why I always say it is very important to be engaged in the here and now. Because when you are in the here and now and you give the best that you can, rather than you keep looking for what is not here at the moment, diba? And you lose the present moment. Diba? Kasi hanap ka ng hanap, naubos ang enerhiya ng isip, ng puso, nang kahahanap nandito ka at hindi ka na nag-engage where you are, then you also lose yung revelation of the purpose. Because life reveals itself as you get engaged in the present, in the here and now. Kaya nga sinasabi ni Kay, mahirap pero forever hinahanap. Kasi nga ganun siya Hindi siya once and for all revealed at hindi siya yung final answer. Hindi siya yung ganun. No, they are moments, we find them, we discover them, we engage with them, and then we realize as we go through again, ganyan, nag-iiba naman siya, nag-i-expand siya lahat. Dahil ang biyaya ng Diyos, no, whether you call Him a God or not, doesn't matter to me. Dahil yung biyaya niya sa atin, yung pagkatao natin, ay hindi siya once and for all. Ang ganda ng sarili natin, ang ganda ng pagkatao natin, because we are so complex. There's so many things we need to discover in ourselves. And the discovery is not once and for all. Kaya nga ang kahalagahan ng engagement in the here and now. Because doon lang magyayabong, doon lang magre-reveal, mag-unfold yung iba't ibang aspeto ng pagkatao mo. And sometimes you think you understood it already at a certain age. It gets back to you at a certain age and tells you, no, you have never understood everything, my dear. That anger, that frustration, that fear, you thought you understand it when you were 30. Nah, you're 50. My God, it's coming back. But then it gives you a different aspect of that fear, a different view and picture of that fear na hindi mo nakita noon, and anger and everything else that you are actually experiencing. I'm saying all these things because they are actually part of the experience that I have and I've been going through, even in the midst of this pandemic. And that's why the call that I have been saying, no? And I like what you said, Pilar, no? Silence. In this pandemic, there's so many feelings that people go through. But also because of those feelings, those emotions, people also would like to simply get out of it as fast as they can. Because it's too much to contain at times, hindi mo alam kung maso-survive mo. Di ba? Pag sad ka, di ba? Pag may naranasan ka, di ba? Ang gusto mo is get out of it because you don't know whether you'll wake up, di ba, better or what, yung mga ganon. But I always say, embrace it. Embrace it in the silence, in embracing it in the silence, get to a moment of silence. I've experienced that several times. When there's nothing in the mind, there's nothing really, and that silence speaks. My God, it's a very different experience. You can really listen to something that doesn't come from the brain. And those are wonders. And that's how actually you know whether you're making right decisions or not. When you are at that state, they are not ordinary states, but I hope that we get to practice more, taking care of ourselves in silence. Because when we practice that, we hear the inner core, the inner voice, the voice of the higher being. Then we know we are not deciding from our fears. We are not deciding from our anger. We are not deciding from the momentary negative events of our lives. We are deciding out of peace, out of a calling from within. So yun ang aking gusto rin na kasi I know my staff keep asking, they're young, they're mga ganun at lahat, But hold on, it is the ability to sustain oneself. Grit is such the ability to sustain oneself, not with numbness. Because when you get numbed, there's no compassion in numbness when you just want to get out. Diba? And just go on and move. Ang nakakatakot kasi yung fear na hindi mo alam kung kakayanin mo kasi yung dinadaanan na emotions. But trust in it. It is in dying that you actually resurrect. That fear will not kill you. And even diving into the deepest emotions that we have. Of course, we need support systems kasi yung iba hindi nakakaya nga. They take their lives and everything. But that is what we need to do with one another, to provide that support system with one another as well, so that people also can embrace the pain and go through it and believe one day when they get out of it, indeed, that there is a higher being, that in yourself you are actually gifted. I went through those things, when you think like, my God, mabubuhay pa ba ako? Gigising pa ba ako bukas? Lahat. I think, this is very personal already because that's how we don't talk of grit here in the brain. There's so many books we have read, no? Technically, minsan very critical ako, hindi ito ang tamang gamit ng term, ganyan-ganyan. But beyond all those technical matters, is the ability to actually go through the experience to get in touch with it. Because only then can we teach, only then can we really be compassionate because we know what it means, di ba, Kaylor?
Yes
Yun
po.
lang.
I really agree. Yeah, we need to talaga ako agree. That's also my experience and na ako I am a psychology major pero at the end of the day kaya nagbe-base din ako sa experience ko that ang human strength may limitations, no? And it's so difficult to really find your interest and your purpose. That's the reason why I discovered and I realized and I felt, no? I really felt the essence of God, no, in my life that as much as possible for you to know your meaning and your purpose, we need to be careful in decision making, and the prayer is very important for you also to listen to a higher being who will guide you, who will really guide you to really find this purpose. So for teenagers po, no, mga millennials who are working, no, I think that's one of the suggestions po that you can consider, and I agree with ma'am, no. We need to be quiet and we need also to pray, to really pray harder and to have a connection to God. It's very important to have connection to people, but I think it's also important for us to also have connection with God. And you will be surprised, no, ako based on my experience, I cried, I decided to be quiet and I prayed, and all of a sudden, after a day, I found the answer to what I've been looking for. It is a process. Mom is very right. This is a process. Kasi bago din ako ma-discover yung aking interest, it took me several years, no? And the Lord helped me to find that purpose. To be honest po, ma'am, na ito yung nagtotalk po ako about psychological perspective, no? One of the limitations is you should not integrate values in your faith, no? That's one, no? Kaya dito rin, I'm very, very careful. Kaya lang, I told myself, I need to be balanced also. I need to share the knowledge, but at the same time, why not try also to integrate my personal experience? Kaya lagi kong sinishare based on my experience, and I try to integrate God. That's also my conviction, ma'am. And I'm happy to know that in this kind of session, in DepEd, we are allowed to talk about human experience and we are allowed to talk about our God. I'm also very happy to hear that from you.
Yes,
Thank you
Kaylor,
very
no?
much.
Because because I appreciate psychology as a way of understanding the self and all the coping strategies, but I always say that at the end of the day I can do breathe in, breathe out.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
But that is only an instrument for me to quiet the self.
Yeah.
And after quieting the self, I need to get into really what is happening inside the self. And what is happening inside the self is more than psychology.
Yes.
It's a human experience. And that human experience, has actually meaning in it. And the meaning is not just confined to me, confined to my relationship with others. But it's confined to something else, di ba? Yung ganon. Kaya ako, drawn din ako dun sa psycho-spiritual, the combination of
Yes. And spirituality.
Yes, oo. Kasi at the end of the day, that my experience has led me to that, no? And
Yes.
and only the openness to it will bring you actually to the wonders of it. You will never,
Yes.
yes, di ba? The openness of a person to an experience beyond oneself can only make you wonder. Ba? Kaya ang ko minsan, be like children, get curious. Why is life not curious and everything? I look at the children and they ask questions and oh my God, where did you get all? And they're so excited about life, no? Pag adult na, straightforward lahat ng sagot sa buhay at lahat ng sa Pinas. Parang wow, walang wonder. Ganon. only when you let yourself get through the various experiences do you get to
Yes. I
this.
agree. I
Because
really agree.
you realize you don't have all the answers, di ba?
Yes. That's why, ma'am, I have a philosophy. Even I'm a psychology major. My philosophy is always, whether we like it or not, God will always be the ultimate answer to every question. No, ang dami nating tanong. Halimbawa, ang analogy ko nga dun, ma'am, ganito eh. What's the name of your mom? Anong pangalan ng mom ng mami mo? Ang tagal, no? At the end of the day, sabi mo, all of them came from God. No? Kaya I firmly believe that there are a lot of questions, but the ultimate answer will always be God. I'm so glad, I'm so happy that I meet you, ma'am. That you are also talking about human experience and God.
Yes, thank you also for meeting you. For others, they may not call they may not call him God, but it's a higher being. And
A
I
higher being, yes. Yeah, higher being.
there is
Supreme being.
something, yeah, but there's something always greater than us. No? In the silence of our
Yes.
mind. Yun yung gustong-gusto ko kay Saint Ignatius of Loyola.
Of Loyola.
Yeah, the discernment. And it's so real
Mm-mm.
for him, that discernment, that somebody else is really talking na. Kaya ang laging ang tanong, paano mo naririnig na hindi ikaw yun? Di ba? Ang na yun.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know, that's true, Kaylor, because I've always been asking all those questions of paano ang desisyon nito ay hindi akin at talagang ito ay delete ako at lahat. And I found the answer in what you said. In various moments of my life of silence, that really silence, there is where I found ay meron ngang nagsasalitang iba. Hindi ako ito. Hindi ako. That clarity and so peaceful in various stages of my life, I have heard it. Sabi ko nga lang, kailangan kong gawin sa buhay ay dahil hindi ako perfecto at hindi pa ako talaga dito. Hindi lang sa hindi perfecto, pero sumasablay ako ng sumasablay lagi. Alam mo yun? Ay, sana ma-practice ko pa ito ng mabuti, yung silence na ito. Kasi gusto ko na mas constant na naririnig ko yun sa buhay ko. Yun lang ang aking gustong marating. The purpose, diba? So my purpose for now is actually that. As I turned 50, no, sabi ko, Lord, alam ko na ang hinihingi ko. Alam ko nang hinahanap ko. Kasi ito pala yung purpose ko at this point. Yun. Sana mas madalas kong marinig yun. Which means sana mas madalas kong magawa yung silence. Sana mas madalas kong, kasi hindi siya yung silence na ginagawa na nakaupo ka na hindi siya yung, I have kakaibang silence. And how do you reach that, no? Practice. Pag naranasan mo minsan, malalaman mo, ito yun. Pero sasabihin mo, paano ulit? Kasi babalik ka sa daily grind ng buhay.
Yeah.
Diba? So parang hinanap mo, paano ulit? So yun ang aking hinahanap na ngayon. The purpose of being able to get into that. Hopefully. Yun. Tatahimik na ako. Thank you, Jo.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you po. Thank you po, ma'am.
Well, thank you for sharing your personal experience, no? Kasi actually ako parang nanahimik ako kasi parang nagkaroon ako ng moment of reflection. Kasi ako personally, I'm also asking myself, what really is my purpose in life? And alam ko, hindi lang naman ako nagtatanong ito. Everyone is asking it. And yun nga po, this is part of our being human, our human experience. And this is not all about us. This is also about ano ba talaga yung tinatawag niya sa atin. So, thank you very much, Director Ronnie. Okay. Napaka-interesting, no? Nung ating talakayan on purpose. Napakaganda. Thank you very much, Ma'am Kaylor. No? And for sharing din yung inyong mga ways to find that purpose. Okay, so ayan, mga sensors, no? Shout out muna, no? So mga nanonood sa atin all the way from Rojas City, from Sarangani, from Coronadal City Divisions. Maraming salamat po for watching. And of course, from Maguindanao. Hello po sa inyo. Ayan, may question po. May mga questions tayo dito, Ma'am Taylor, no? Ayan, very ano din ito na I really I believe no, kailangan din natin itong masagot. Kasi this is about wellness. Wala po kay Miss Anne Resurrection. Is wellness be attained during conflicting or sabay-sabay na webinar for teachers? So, how are we going to deal with this po? Kasi yan nga, parang we always talk about wellness, we have to take care of ourselves. Pero sa ganito po kasi na sitwasyon, no, na sabay-sabay yung webinars and even meetings, how are we going to attain that wellness? So from purpose to wellness naman ngayon.
From purpose to wellness. Okay. Ma'am, kasi it's a process. For you to attain wellness, you need to undergo different processes, no? Kasi ang wellness, hindi lang siya sa isang dimension. There are a lot of dimensions that we need to consider. We have physical, emotional, social, behavioral, and etc. No? So, definitely, this cannot happen in an abrupt. No? Kahit halimbawa ako po ay umattend ng wellness webinar ng 1 week, ma-achieve ko ba agad yung wellness? Definitely not, because it will always be a process. Now, dun po sa tanong na dahil ang dami namin ina-attend ng webinars, ang dami namin ina-attend na activities, how do we going to attain wellness? Okay? First, yun nga po, if you will try to read other books, no, other researches, makikita nyo po doon, lalabas marami. Very, very vague siya, no? Sabi niya, you need to eat nutritious food, you need to take vitamins, you need to exercise. And there are several explanations bakit na-attain niya ang wellness through the process of the brain. No? There's something's going on in the brain. But I am sure all of us know this already. No? Alam na natin, kailangan mag-exercise. Alam na natin na matulog ng maaga. Alam na rin natin na we need to take care of ourselves by, of course, may proper hygiene dapat and etc. But ito po yung something na isa pang workable na means and ways for us to attain wellness is, number 1 is to really feel, damahin. To really feel what's going on, to really feel what you feel inside. But never feed any kinds of emotions. Parang you feel the emotions, even the pain, but never feed the pains or never feed the negative emotions. Ano po ang ibig sabihin nun? Guro, sa gabi naman, kung 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, or 9 o'clock, or even 10 o'clock, we need to give time to ourselves. Bago matulog, you pause for a while, okay? And you just feel. Damahin mo lang. Ano ba nararamdaman kong araw na ito? Okay? Kung gusto mong maiyak, edi maiyak ka. kung gusto mong ngumiti, edi mangiti ka. No? And then, if you want, no, you can also try to do the butterfly embrace sa sarili mo. No? Pag naiiyak ka, nalulungkot ka, nasasaktan ka, and nobody is around kasi ayaw mo rin manggulo, you embrace yourself like this. That's what you call the butterfly embrace. And then, ako, based on my experience, when I do that, I pray. Miss Joanne, I really pray. Kasi my human strength is limited and I need someone up there who's higher than me who can really help me to cope with all of these difficulties. I think that's very, very important. No? Aside from yung mga alam na natin na knowledge, na exercise, diet, I think feeling the pain without feeding it will really help us to have that kind of wellness. Why is that so? Because this will give you strength along the way, to know what to do next. No? Kasi it will help you always be aware of the realities of what's going on so that you can respond to it properly based on your discernment, based on your reflection. And this will lead you not to suppress yourself, to resist something in you. Kasi the more that you will resist, the more it will persist. So the more that you will resist something in you, the more that it can create drama. No? Minsan nagiging madrama na tayo on how to respond. So the cure is for us to be healthy, for us to take care of our own wellness. Please allow ourselves to feel what's inside.
Thank you po. No, ayan. Actually, I really do understand yung dadaanan din ng siguro yung nag-question kasi talaga ngayon, no, ang dami nating ginagawa, sabay-sabay na
Mm-mm.
meetings. Minsan, iba-ibang device, no, ang ginagamit natin. But, ito, yung wag nating kakalimutan lagi yung sarili natin. We have to, of course, prioritize ourselves, no. And pagkata yung na-share ni Ma'am Taylor, no, na what we can do is to, pag bago matulog siguro na to review what happened sa nangyari sa buong maghapon and then reflect on it. In Ignition, it's examining what happened in the day and asking for God's grace. Ayan, and discerning on it. Okay, so thank you po, ma'am. Ayan, yung mga tayo dito, mga comments from our viewers, no? Ayan. Mula kay Miss Glenber Hipol. Thank you, ma'am, for very inspiring and sobrang nakaka-relate po ako. God bless po mula kay Josette Bisande Maluenda. Quitting, ito, yung kanina about quitting naman. Thank you, ma'am. Quitting entails all courage and later giving up to realize you have given yourself a relief. Mula po kay Miss Rosemary David Renegado. Good morning po, watching from Cotabato City Division. Cotabato Division. Magandang umaga po sa mga taga Cotabato Division, mga taga Soxargen ngayon in fairness. Ito po, mula kay Enyogon Quintilis. Ouch, why did I fall? But I need to pick up myself by letting it go. Okay, and move forward. Yun po ang mahalaga. Let go and move forward. Okay, and ito po mula kay Miss Marita Soloriano Pantorilla. Thanks for sharing your knowledge and experience. Ang ganda ng mga sinabi mo, ma'am. Ito yung sharing ni Director Ronnie and Miss Kaylor kanina. Masaya ako kasi directed with your point of view. I am watching from Kidapawan City Division. Hello po sa mga taga Kidapawan, kay Miss Roxanne Ocon, ang DRM coordinator namin doon. Hello, ma'am. And ito po for Miss Kay. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and experience. I remember my student at St. Anne Academy way back 90s who looks like you. Even the name. So, ayan. Baka po familiar kayo, ma'am, or kilala niyo si ma'am. And ito po mula kay Merita Escolada. Yes, really agree. Both of you po, silence help us to refresh our inner self and be strengthened from our prayers that only God to do it for us. Thank you so much po. Maraming salamat po sa mga nagpadala po ng mensahe sa atin. And of course, siguro panghuli na po na tanong talaga, Ma'am Kay, and siguro dagdagan na din ang inyong last message for this session or for this episode. How our teachers can teach grit and about toxic positivity po sa mga learners?
Okay. So definitely po, no, para po ma-encourage din natin yung ating mga students to practice grit and toxic positivity, it's very po important as educators like me, no, to walk our talk. No? Kailangan po makita, ma-observe ng ating mga estudyante na yung kahalagahan ng gusto nating ma-develop sa kanila. Like for example, basic rules or protocols to come to school on time. Okay? Of course, to deliver the lessons with quality and to be there for them no matter what happens. If they see this, then they will realize, they will feel the essence of grit. No? It's very important na makita muna nila sa atin. And then pangalawa is, of course, for them to develop a grit, you need to create activities create activities or facilitating conditions, integrating academic tasks and activities wherein the students can experience practice, no? Kung whatever the content of the lesson, whatever topic, halimbawa problem solving yan, let them practice, no? Until they discover the right answer, then this can develop a grit in them. And then you need to always have what we call the right processing and feedbacking. Kailangan ma-process, no? Kapag na mali yung sagot ng bata, don't say mali agad yung sagot mo. So you need to process. It's okay. So how can I help you? So tulungan kita ganito to. So aside from telling him na it's okay, you need to teach the student or the students how to improve yung kanilang activities. O, ito, tutulungan kita ha, ganito ang gagawin mo. And then, of course, it's also very important for us not to really be too disappointed every time na hindi po successful or hindi po perfect yung task ng mga bata, because it is a process. We need to instill in their minds and in their hearts that it's okay. It's part of growth. It's part of life. And the most important in the processing of the lesson is to let them feel that the most important in life is for you. Is really for you to improve what you are doing. In terms of toxic positivity, no? Let's avoid saying, or good vibes lang dito ha. Walang iiyak, walang
Happy lang.
happy lang, no? If you see some students not really happy, then you can just simply tell them, okay, if there is a problem, it's okay. If you don't feel good about it, then it's okay. Please let me know how I can help you. Okay? Something like that. Parang at least you are presenting to them the realities in life. And in the end, you are preparing these students, no, on how to deal all situations outside the four corners of your classroom, so that when they face the real world, they know what to do next because they are already prepared inside the classroom, no? Kasi the more na sasabihin mo sa kanila, oy, happy lang. Paano pag lumabas yan outside the classroom? How would they deal complicated things such as this? So that's really important that it should start inside the classroom. So halimbawa naman sa isang bata nagsabing, nag-e-express siya ng kanyang negative emotions. You can just, instead of saying na, ay wag na, we just need to be happy, marami tayong trabaho dito sa classroom. Why not just simply say, okay, I think that's very important. Maybe you can stay for a while and let's talk about it. It's okay. Something like that. And of course, my last message, ma'am, no? Sabi niyo po, last message. It's my last message. The reality, one of the immutable givens in life is we are facing the adverse effect of the pandemic, and it's not easy. It's not easy to overcome, no? We are all in pain. Ano yung mga realities na yon? Yung iba sa atin, nawala ng trabaho, nabawasan ng sweldo, at napakasakit. Hindi mo alam kung paano ka babangon, no? Some of us, may pandemic na nga, hindi makatalabas, broken-hearted pa. Some of us, ang dami-daming trabaho na dapat tapusin, pero may family problem. Sumabay pa yung pandemic. And it's not really easy. The answer is we need to accept all of this and allow ourselves to be on the process of struggle. But how can we do that? No? How can we do that knowing the fact that human strength has limitations? Again, I will be consistent on this. We need God. We need a higher being, no? A source of being who is higher than us, to really help us to overcome all of these difficulties. Because at the end of the day, you will realize, minsan yung family natin, mga kaibigan natin na gusto nating makausap, na gusto nating tumulong sa atin, dahil busy din sila at meron din silang other priorities, minsan hindi tayo matulungan, hindi tayo mapakinggan. But always remember, there will always be someone who is very ready to listen to us and to help us overcome all of these challenges. And therefore, it is okay to experience problems, because at the end of the day, there will be someone who will vindicate us and will help us to surpass all of this difficulty. For me, I call him my God. For other people, he might not be God, maybe higher being. But again, at the end of the day, based on my experience, that's my conviction. Hold on to our God who will develop that grit and will help us to avoid toxic positivity. Because at the end of the day, His love will always prevail no matter what happens.
Thank you very much, Miss Kaylor. No, ayan. Maraming salamat po sa siksik. Bigli ko tumaahon na talakayan, no? Ayan, sana nga, mas pag-usapan pa natin to. And I really do hope our teachers, no, were able to, to get yung lahat po ng mga shinare ni Miss Kay, no? Especially po na malapit na po yung ating pasukan, no? Mag-open ang classes natin sa October 5. And maganda po na i-share natin ito sa ating mga learners, no? Especially yung grit. Kasi grit is not only being courageous, no? Pero we also help our learners to be resilient po sa lahat po ng mangyayaring challenge or difficulties po sa buhay. So ayan mga moms and sirs, to end our webinar series po for today, let us call in Director Renilda Co of DRRMS. Director
Thank you,
Ronnie, hello
Jo.
po.
Good morning ulit. And maraming salamat po sa ating mga tagapanood ngayong umagang ito. To our teachers, Happy Teachers Month sa inyong lahat. Kaylor, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, your experience, yourself into this session. Narinig niyo po, ano? This are really difficult times. No? Sabi ni Kaylor, halo-halo kasi ang pinanggagalingan ng ating mga pakiramdam. Never siguro in our lifetime, no, will we ever experience this kind of sama-sama sa isang iglap, no, in a very short span, ginulat tayo at lahat. At yung karanasan ng lahat na ng pakiramdam meron tayo ngayon. 'Di ba? Kaya ang hirap niya i-deal kasi lahat na lang sila nasa atin. 'Di ba? Yung ganon. And tumingin ka sa kanan, kaliwa mo, likod mo, harap mo, ganon din. Lahat din sila may nararamdaman, no? And that is why this is so challenging. And I always say, no, that's why nagsasagawa kami ng mental health and psychosocial support services na mga sessions, because we need to take care of one another. We need to take care of ourselves. At yun nga, sana magamit natin, no? It is important that we take care of ourselves, that we are able to use yung mga strategies, no, mga ways na binibigay sa atin to calm ourselves, calm the emotions, everything. But beyond that, I have said this time and again, no, na this is a time of interiority. Never have we ever been in this situation na nakulong ka sa bahay, 'di ba? Tinamaan ka ng ilang hindi maintindihan na saan nanggagaling lahat ng mga emotions and everything. So it's important that we get back, no? Hindi lang yung na-manage natin yung emotions natin, na-manage natin yung daily natin na okay na ako, nakakahinga na ako ng mabuti at lahat yung mga ganon. But we take this as a moment of interiority, which means let's get back to ourselves. Let's try to see, what's going on inside of us and what are we actually called to. Yung nga sabi ni Kaylor, na yung kailangan bitawan. Siguro ano yung kailangan bitawan at ano yung kailangan na pick upin, no? At mag-move on tayo. Because there's so many things. I said this last night sa prayer namin sa DepEd Central Office. The struggle is real also because it is asking us so many in many ways to give up, to say goodbye to the things that we have known in life, to the things that have been part of our daily lives. But remember, they are not us. Diba? Yung mga damit natin, sige, nakaka-shopping tayo, or yung mga ginagawa natin, araw-araw nakakausap. These are all, they all actually, they're actually part of the journey that we have, but they are not us. There's something more to life than just all these things. If even in fact, no, in the end, we go back to the higher being as we are, diba? So there's something more to that, and we get back to that, I always, sana po balikan ang sarili sa mga panahon ito. Mahalaga siya, importante siya, because only in going back to the self, no, in moments of silence, can we actually discover, rediscover, learn, unlearn, relearn what we have been called and meant to be. Okay? Para maging mas maganda ang mundo natin, mas maging busilak na ikaw, ako, tayo, at ang bayan at ang mundo, no, na ating kakaharapin pag natapos lahat ng mga ito. So good morning and thank you so much to all of you for listening.
Thank you very much, Director Ronnie, and of course, to Miss Kaylor for joining us today, and our Filipino Sign Language interpreter, Miss Casey Miroy, and Miss Alec Del Rosario. And of course, sa inyo po, mga moms and sirs na nanonood po ngayon dito sa ating Wellness Check series sa DepEd Philippines Facebook page. Ayan po, no? Kung may mga COVID-19 related concerns po kayo, no, we will share this hotline numbers po with you, no? DepEd at ng Caris Line na pwede niyo pong tawagan, no, kung meron po kayong mga pangangailangan. Okay? Ayan. And of course po, stay tuned every Friday po dito sa DepEd Philippines Facebook page every 9 a.m. Para po sa ating Wellness Check series. So ayan, shout out po kay Miss Jane Versosa from Pasig City. Binabati po kayo ni Anthony. Ayan, kung nais nyo din pong malaman ang mga susunod po na topics ng ating series, punta lamang po kayo sa deped.in/wellness-check or scan the QR code po na makikita nyo sa inyong screen. And of course po, para po sa ating evaluation, yan po, punta lamang po kayo sa deped.in/wellness-check, eval, or scan po ang QR code na makikita nyo din sa inyong screen. Okay? So, ayan mga moms and sirs, samahan niyo po kami sa iba pang programa, no, ng DepEd para po tulungan natin kayong malagpasan ang mga nararanasan natin ngayon dahil sa COVID-19. No? So, nasa kaliwang bahagi po ng inyong screen ang schedule po ng TV broadcast ng MHPSS po before the opening of classes. So, that is from September 28 hanggang October 2. So, meron po tayong DRMS buklatan from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and OKK Tambayan from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And ito nga po, may 3 po tayong episodes ng Wellness Check series, no, na ipapalabas din mula September 28 to September 30 from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. and Gabay Bahay po from October 1 to October 2. And then ang ating kakaibayanihan naman for our learners with special needs, no, from September 28 to October 2 from 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Okay, and patuloy pa rin po ang ating online mental health and psychosocial support services, no, na ginagawa po natin. So, every Tuesday po, meron pa rin tayong DRMS buklatan from 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. para po sa ating mga elementary learners. Ito po yung online storytelling natin, no, about child protection. And ang OKK Tambayan naman po from 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. every Thursday naman ito. And yung ating kakaibayanihan online every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday po from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And of course po, magkakaroon po tayo ng online psychosocial support through play with our partners, Unila Foundation, from 8 a.m. to 12 noon po. September 29 po yan. Na-move po siya from September 28. And of course, yung ating psychological first aid for secondary learners from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So, samahan niyo po kami sa mga dates na yan. Okay? So, ayan po, no, mga moms and sirs. So, tapos na naman po ang isang episode natin ng Wellness Check series today. Ayan. Kung gusto niyo pong balikan ang ating mga previous episodes, no, ng Wellness Check and Stronger from Home, punta lamang po kayo sa DepEd Philippines Facebook page. Just go to videos and check niyo po ang playlist for Stronger from Home and ng ating Wellness Check series. Okay? Check na check po ba yun? Check na check. Okay, so ayan. Sa susunod po na Biyernes, no, magkita-kita po tayong muli dito sa DepEd Philippines Facebook page sa ganap na alas 9 ng umaga. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagsubaybay. Muli po ako si Joan Yamado mula sa DRMS, ang kasama niyo sa pagpapanatili at pagpapalaganap ng Wellness Check na Check. Magandang umaga po!